This man broke into a wealthy man's house. With help from his partner, he successfully froze the alarm system for 7 minutes. George quickly grabbed the valuable collectibles, but just as he was about to leave, the system suddenly malfunctioned. Before he could even react, every door that had been opened in the house automatically slammed shut. George called his partner on the radio, but his partner said there was nothing he could do. After tossing out one last line, "You're on your own now," he never replied again. Panicking, George pried open the control panel, but that did nothing to stop the piercing alarm. It wasn't until he cut the wires to the speaker that the house finally went quiet. What he didn't know was that the damaged control panel was about to put his life in serious danger. While he was desperately trying to break the door open, the system quietly switched into heating mode. Hot air started blasting down from the ceiling. George wanted a drink of water to cool off, only to realize the water supply had been shut off. Even the stove wouldn't light. The only thing left in the fridge was a tiny amount of caviar to keep him alive. After eating and drinking what little he could, George went back to trying to break the door down. But after working for a whole hour, he finally realized there was a layer of steel hidden inside the wooden door. With no other choice, George called his partner again for help, but his partner had already abandoned him and run. The radio stayed completely silent. Out of options, George could only lie down and pray for a miracle. The next morning, he heard a helicopter outside. He rushed out right away, only to discover that this airtight house blocked out every sound from the outside. George looked around at the structure of the house and realized the glass ceiling seemed to be his only way out. So he dragged over every table and shelf in the house that he could stack together. Whenever he got tired from moving things, he ran to the bathtub for water. But to his surprise, the tub was filled with seawater, completely undrinkable. The fish tank held saltwater fish too, so that water was useless as well. George had no choice but to suck on ice cubes to cool down and fight his thirst. If he didn't get out soon, he might actually die in there. George cut down every usable rope he could find, tied them together, and made a rope ladder. But even after adding everything he had, he still couldn't reach the ceiling. At the same time, the broken system raised the room temperature to 38 degrees Celsius. George was so overheated that he had to crawl into the refrigerator to cool off. He even licked every bit of frost off the inside. The next day, he used a sculpture worth $2 million to pry open a freezer room. Inside, he found some dog food and a tomahawk steak. Just then, he heard the sound of water spraying outside. George immediately ran toward it. It turned out to be the automatic irrigation system watering the plants. Now he had fresh water and food. At least it looked like he could survive for another week. That day, George found a hidden door behind a wardrobe. Behind it was a narrow hallway. He carefully stepped inside. When he reached the end, he saw something that filled him with fear.
No!